I spend a lot of time now watching every piece of content he puts out, every interview, but the difference is I'm learning something every single time. So the value of that time has just multiplied immensely. I could be doing something else, like, you know, video game or something like that. I'm not a huge gamer, or, you know, going out and gambling and stuff like that. But instead, I'm like watching a 3-hour live stream and literally learning something, probably, I wouldn't even say every time, multiple times during that live stream. So it's not just, you know, thank you for an awesome product, but, you know, thank you for just the continuing education, not just for myself, but for so many out there who are just coming into the space. I mean, the lives that can impact over years and the ones that have already been impacted, it's amazing. So that's a big thank you right there. Cabana Crypto, Maryland at Cabana Crypto. I want to bring something different. And obviously, if anybody's seen our show, it's different. We try to be informal but informative. So we kind of have a little fun in there, while possibly, hopefully, somebody is getting, you know, some educational feedback from what we're talking about. Maybe it's, you know, just idea generation. We have, you know, OGs on the panel. We got Big Kurkowski, Motley Investor, Crypto Events, and between us all and our guests, different topics each week. Different things come up, things that we haven't even thought about, and it's just a fun discussion in front of the community. And the chat is always great because they always bounce off questions from what's going on screen. So it's my way of getting people together. I think I'm a good organizer, and you know, just making something more entertaining. We have so many community members now that are really good at TA. We have the Gerardos. I mean, Wave 3's out there. He's, you know, big Hexican. We have, you know, Matty Allen with the mental health kind of thing. We have the Discourse Syndicate, you know, the Ladies Discourse Syndicate. So we're kind of touching on everything, and I just wanted to contribute to the variety. I was, well, started in traditional markets. We chatted about this last night, and yeah, I went from there to crypto. So actually, I mean, if we're going way back, I did pretty well in the crash of 2008. I think that was the, what was it, the
2018, you mean?
No, 2008. I'm talking crypto. I'm talking traditional markets, the real estate bubble.
Oh, okay, the real estate.
I actually invested in a lot of Vegas property names, casino names, and got, like, say, Las Vegas Sands for like $150 or something like that. You know, and took off there. And I had some, like, capital to work with. And I was like, okay, I want to expand my horizons, because I researched one sector. I mean, I'd done well with Apple and stuff, but I really targeted casino sector, because it just, you know, if there was one to balance, that was going to be it. So learned that, and of course had some Google, Apple, you know, things like that, Facebook. But then Bitcoin came along, and it's this, you know, thing that everybody's talking about. It hits the news. I had heard of it before, but never really understood it or taken a dive into it. And around the time that it was about topping out, you know, 15,000, 20,000, that's when I was really reading about it. But I've also been in the game long enough to know that it felt toppy. I mean, everybody was talking about it. It was all over the news and CNBC, and you hear it from your cab driver, Uber driver, and it's like, okay. But eventually I knew it was gonna dip again. So I just dove in and just explored the whole world of crypto, from, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum. My first coin ever was actually Litecoin. I'm okay with admitting that. Don't have it anymore. Yeah. But I did good in it, and yeah, that taught me how fast cryptocurrencies can appreciate, because I got a quick double out of that, and, you know, this was when I traded more. So also learned about many other coins, some of which I didn't really get into. Others, I had watched Richard Hart for a while, and I was very curious about his Bitcoin HEX, I guess, at the time. And I just followed it. and I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I just really like the concept of the delayed gratification, but also kind of something easier for outsiders to understand the, what do we call it, time deposit on the blockchain or something like that. So an easy something for people who've never even been in crypto, but to understand a concept and to come in. I'm like, this could be pretty big. So I, watched it, waited for the adoption amplifier, just put a little taste in on day one just to say I did it. We talked about that earlier. Yeah. And then, just kind of waited, from there and picked my spots and did really well with it. But at the same time, that wasn't it for me. Like I've stayed in it. So I've waited for dips because of the trustless inflation, or however we want to phrase it now. Earning that over time, because that's not going away. It's part of the code. It's locked in there. Right. So, and yeah, I've been a Hexican pretty much ever since. COVID hit, so I can go back just a bit on that. I started to get into all sorts of crypto. So I had HEX, and I had this entity in my portfolio that had kind of swelled up past Bitcoin, past Ethereum, and I have some Polkadot, some Chainlink, and I'm like, okay, and I had a buddy that was doing TA, and we were talking about doing a website together, and I kept comparing everything back to HEX. And Michael Saylor, one of his earlier interviews, has a great bit where he talks about the thing. And in his portfolio, he has a financial advisor or board or whatever. And if a position swells, say he owns Apple. And Apple is the best performer in that portfolio. But because of financial management, they're telling him, okay, well, let's sell some of that and put that into all these other things. And he's like, well, why would I want to do that? That's my best performing asset. He's like, I want more of the thing. I don't want to get rid of the thing. And I heard that, and my brain went to HEX when I heard that. And I thought about it, and slowly but surely, the coins that I own, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I still have a little of each, but those stacks made it into HEX because HEX is the thing. It's the one that is performing, and it's the one that will continue to perform, in my opinion. It means that you understand what delayed gratification is, and you live by it. You act on it. That's what you do. You don't really, you can have, some liquid, you can trim some interest off, but ideally, I would say, you're staked. You have multi-year stakes. You probably have a ladder. Not all Hexicans have to do that. Some Hexicans just have 10, 15-year stakes, and I'd call them Hexicans too. But to me, a Hexican is just delaying that gratification, not really just waiting for a price pump. That's not what this coin is about. Those investors can go trade something else, but it's staking delayed gratification. I can't say financial freedom because I am a staker. I'm not really carrying much liquid. I can not work, for my business. I don't have to do that anymore. I have that luxury. But I still do, just probably to put money into HEX right now because we're, in a nice dip. But yeah, how it's going to change my life is, once I'm, done with the day-to-day for the business, I'll have time to do more of these wonderful events. And I mean, we've met up, Freddie Quotes is over here, and he had a great community weekend gathering. And, that was my first time meeting people outside of the community, or outside of, this area, but in the community. I was like, man, I'm hooked. I want to do this. Let's do, fishing trips. I had the calendar date marked down when you guys were coming here. I was like, I'm in, I'm doing it. So I want to do that. I want to, help other people. We have the Hex Flex thing going on now, which is entertaining. I love it. Man, I love seeing all the material things and stuff like that. But I'm also trying to be a little bit of an inspiration and posting some of the good that I can do now, not really because of finances, but because of the time that's been freed up. So it's, I'm not staring at screens or,
reading about other cryptos or watching other YouTube videos and, really digging in, I got the thing. Like, Kareem and ABIT were talking about in the presentation. Just stake it and forget it. You don't have to worry about a lot of this stuff anymore. And it's amazing. And I would just say the freeing up of time is just, it's opening up things that I can't even think about yet, probably.